Okay, wow. So it's let's say, man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've shared anything on my YouTube channel. And if you have been following the rhythms at all of when I post, always in the spring and the fall, I take like this hiatus from like posting. And really, it's not because I don't have anything to say, and it's not because I'm not out taking photographs. I am. I at least go out 2 or 3 times a week and just shoot random things, photograph random things, just really to keep my eyes sharp on what I'm seeing. I haven't really been on social media a super ton. And a lot of reason is because of how I was raised growing up. Okay, let me put a little explanatory comma in this entire conversation. I grew up with my dad working at a hospital, and my mom was a social worker, and we were very much a Cosby family. Well, wait a minute. I guess like before Cosby got creepy. My dad's not creepy. But my parents were gone all the time and worked wild hours. And I made some choices in my life in my 20s and 30s that when I started to have kids, that I was going to be around more than my parents were around, and that I was going to be involved more with the things that my kids are interested in. Currently, I have 3 kids on 5 different baseball teams this fall. I also help coach uh, my youngest son's team, and I'm the head coach of my 2 older kids' rec team. And I spend a lot of time on the baseball fields in the fall, which doesn't necessarily give me a ton of time to make content because uh, I'm preoccupied with them. I am still photographing weddings when I can. I've dialed that back quite a bit, really, because I wanted to be home more. I wanted to be with my kids more. Um, and to be fair, it wasn't my parents' fault the way that I was raised or the way that I grew up. I think my parents were just trying to do what they knew best, which was to make sure that we had enough money to provide for our family. And I know making videos on YouTube does provide a little supplemental income for me. But I'm not necessarily doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. Like I said, my oldest son is really into surfing and skimboarding, and we moved to Florida to give him those opportunities. My middle son, Gray, is a really, really good baseball player, and I want to be there for his games. I remember being in high school and being at these wrestling tournaments and having football games and looking up in the stands to see if my parents were there. My mom was almost always there. My dad was there when his schedule allowed it. And that, I guess, had a little bit more of an impact on me than I thought it would. So I didn't want to give my kids, my 3 boys, that same experience. So I made some life choices and some life decisions that really gave me the freedom to kind of come and go as I pleased. And I worked hard enough to be able to move our family from Northern Virginia, about 20 miles outside of DC, into Florida to really scale back things. Really to give my kids the opportunity of having dad around. And if you know anything, there are a lot of videos where I show photographs of my kids because that's what I photograph the most of. I, as an adult, don't have very many photographs of me as a kid. That was not something my parents were into. I don't have very many videos of me as a kid. And I don't know, well, beyond my memories, I don't even really remember a ton growing up due to a head injury that I had when I was younger. And I just don't want my kids to have that same experience. So this really isn't a video um, about why I haven't posted. This is more of a video to share that YouTube and social media isn't everything. It's the memories that you make with each other, with your family. I don't want to get so caught up in constantly thinking about content that I'm not present. And there are times where I get locked in on my phone and I'm not as present as I should be. And there are times where I have to wear the coach hat and not the dad hat. And there are times where I struggle with a lot of things. But here I am sharing with you why I haven't posted. And maybe this is something you can relate to. Maybe it isn't. And that's okay if it isn't as well. Yeah, I just really kind of wanted to share, like, do like a more of a mental health check-in on me as I am doing it for you. Here I am getting paid on YouTube to share my thoughts on photography and filmmaking in a shed in my backyard of my house. I'm doing this in a shed and I get paid from YouTube or Google or whoever for making videos about my thoughts. And I don't take any of that for granted. I also don't take for granted my relationship with my family either. And that was part of the reason why we moved to Florida, was to slow things down, to get out of the hustle and bustle of the DC area where I was photographing 40 weddings a year and I was just constantly gone and constantly not present. And I just realized that that was not the life I wanted to have. So here I am in Florida making my first video in a couple of months and sharing those thoughts with you, the viewer. Now, I do have several things that I have kind of created that I have been kind of working on in the background, right? Like, it doesn't mean I've stopped working altogether. I just haven't made videos on them. I haven't made content on them. I haven't shared anything on Instagram or really on Facebook. And there are a lot of people out there that are going through a lot of really hard things in their life. And I've had the privilege recently of helping walk through some of those things with other people that have really been a blessing to me and has kind of put some perspective into what I do, why I do, what I do. So for today, this video is just a check-in. I hope that whatever's going on in your life is going well. I promise to be back with some more content real soon. I might actually drop another video next week. I've been shooting with the Fuji 100V and the Ricoh GR3X and an old Sony A7S1. I've been shooting with all of these different cameras and I have all of these different thoughts on them, and I still love my Leicas, and I'm still shooting my Leica M10 somewhat frequently, not as frequently as I used to, but I still have thoughts about owning a Leica 2 years later that I would love to share with you. So if you've been watching, thanks so much. I appreciate you taking the time. And I promise I'll be back soon with more video and more content. My baseball season is winding down. I only have 4 games left in about 2 weeks, and things have been great. I've been doing good. I've been doing well. And thank you for continuing to leave comments on my channel. Thank you for continuing to subscribe despite there not being any new content. And thank you really for just being you. And I promise I will catch you on the next one. Peace.